we're going to find the lowest common multiple and highest common factor of 18, 20 and 30. We do the same as before, finding the prime factors of each number using the factor tree. Now we need to put these prime factors into a grid. You can do this using the Venn diagram we used with two numbers. If you're very confident with Venn diagrams, this is actually easier if you're not. 18, 20 and 30 down the side, and then we look at which prime factors we have. The smallest prime factor we have is 2, so we'll put that in there. The next one we have in order of size is 3, and finally we have 5. So we just make sure we represent each prime factor that's come up in the grid. Now we're going to look for how many 2's we have for 18. And there's one lot of 2, so we just put that in the grid here. Now we're going to see how many 3's we have for 18. And there are 2 3's, so that's 3 squared. And how many 5's? There are no 5's for 18, so we leave that blank. Now moving on to the 20. How many 2's do we have in 20? There are 2 2's, so that's 2 squared. How many 3's? There are no 3's, we leave that blank. How many 5's for 20? There's one lot of 5, so we put that in there. And 30, how many 2's for 30? There's just one lot of 2, put that in there. How many 3's? There's one lot of 3. And how many 5's? There's one lot of 5. First we're going to find the highest common factor, and to do that we look for the biggest factor shared by all the numbers. The only factor that all three numbers share is 2, so the highest common factor for 18, 20 and 30 is 2. To find the lowest common multiple is a little bit more complicated. Look for the number where each factor appears most. So if we look at the factors 2, we have 2 for 18, 2 squared for 20 and 2 for 30. So where it appears most is 20, where it's 2 squared. So that's the first number we're going to work with to find the lowest common multiple. Now we look at the factor 3, and we have 3 squared and 3. 3 squared is the biggest, so that's the one we're going to use to find our lowest common multiple. And for the 5's, we just have one lot of 5 twice, so we just put in one lot of 5. 2 squared multiplied by 3 squared multiplied by 5. That's the same as 4 times by 9 times by 5. 4 times 9 is 36. When I'm multiplying by 5, I always multiply by 10 and then halve it. So 36 multiplied by 10 is 360. If I halve that, it's 180. So the lowest common multiple of 18, 20 and 30 is 180. Here's one more. It might look as if it's going to be an easier one than the first one, but there's a reason I left this one until after. Find the lowest common multiple and highest common factor of 4, 9 and 12. So exactly the same as before, we find the prime factors for each number, and now we put them into a grid. So down the side we have 4, 9 and 12, and looking at the prime factors, we have the smallest one is 2, and the next one is 3, and there aren't any others. Looking at how many lots of 2 for 4, we have 2 lots of 2, so that's 2 squared. How many lots of 3 for 4? There aren't any 3's, so we're going to move on to the 9's. How many 2's for 9? There aren't any 2's for 9. How many 3's for 9? There are 2 lots of 3, so that's 3 squared. For 12, how many 2's? There are 2 2's for 12, so that's 2 squared. And how many 3's for 12? There's just one lot of 3, so we put that in there. To find the highest common factor, we're looking for the biggest factor shared by all the numbers. What you'll notice here is there isn't one in the grid shared by all the numbers. 2 is shared by 4 and 12, but not 9. 3 is shared by 9 and 12, but not 4. If this happens, your highest common factor for all those numbers is 1. To find the lowest common multiple, we look for the number where each factor appears most. So for 2, both times it appears, it's 2 squared, so we just put 2 squared in once. For 3, we have a 3 squared and a 3, so the biggest one is 3 squared, so we put that in to calculate our lowest common multiple. 2 squared times by 3 squared, which is the same as 4 times 9, and that's 36. The lowest common multiple for 4, 9 and 12 is 36. If you found this video helpful, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel.